Update Pinnacle Station. Technology Combat Simulator. In the absence of realistic terrain or equipment, military organizations will often make use of a combat simulator as a method of training soldiers for varied combat environments. Holographic projectors are used to create visual representations of opponents and obstacles. Kinetic barriers are then cast to prevent participants from passing through the obstacles and terrain. Kinetic barriers are also used to simulate weapon damage and shockwaves. However, while most trainers argue that pain is the best teacher, all government-sponsored combat simulators are required to make use of extensive safety protocols to prevent any serious, permanent damage to participants. Okay, so we've finished valuable minerals with some help from Joker. So they're just going to tell us to look for more. Okay, yeah. Alright, this is just to go to Intaise. Check out the house. Sell some of my gear, including the sniper rifle we got from him. It's no big deal.
Looking for supplies?
Let's see what you got.
You bet, Commander.
Alright, so let's go to Intaise and I will show you how to get multiple bits of sniper gear, the Spectre gear, and the best stuff in the game that I'm using. So you can go to Pinnacle Station at any point, really. Let me just search on my way in. I don't see anything sparkly. Tuntau is an enormous, low-density terrestrial planet with a thick atmosphere of methane and helium. Despite being nearly 20 AU from Phoenix, the star's great heat and the insulating thickness of the atmosphere make the surface surprisingly temperate. The crust is mainly composed of sodium and silicon dioxide, with deposits of various light metals. While Tuntau is not habitable, the relative pleasantness of the surface conditions make it a popular location for small ships traveling through the Argus Rho cluster to land for drive discharge. Alright, I'm not going to land just yet. I'm going to go to my apartment. First, I'm going to search other planets and belts for stuff so I don't forget. Silsato. Standard hydrogen-helium gas giant. It has no remarkable features. Carbonaceous asteroid. This asteroid is emitting a weak, intermittent signal at a frequency of 1540 megahertz. Prothean data disk recovered. During a scan of the Phoenix System asteroid field, you detected an odd energy reading that Tali determined was Quarian in nature. She led a recon team into the asteroid field, where she discovered an abandoned freighter. The team could not determine why the ship was there, but they did find a Prothean data disk on board. Patashi is a sun-blasted terrestrial world whose atmosphere was blasted away millennia ago by the star Phoenix. The surface is scorching hot and mainly composed of iron with deposits of tin. Due to its relative low density, Patashi is tidally locked to Phoenix. Seas of molten light metals cover much of the sunward side. Rare elements surveyed. While scanning the planet, you detected a deposit of samarium. Entaise. An atmosphere similar to Earth's made Entaise an early candidate for human colonization. However, prohibitively high temperatures and an arid climate here have proven a hindrance to terraforming and agriculture. A few human cities were founded, but the majority of the human population on Entaise remains scattered across the vast deserts, operating wind farms and geological research stations. Okay, so this was a DLC. It does have a few little perks. You can replenish your grenades, replenish your metagel. Here you can just raise a TV screen, which, okay, that's the view. Now, the most important aspect for me is the personal computer. From Redacted to Admiral Tedious Ahern. Admiral, the convoy will be positioned in the Phoenix System for the next week or so. I've spoken with the captains regarding our arrangement. As usual, if you're willing to pay the delivery fee, we can get you a sample from our weapons shipments. No problem. These remote colonies can use all the guns we can afford. Goodness knows the Alliance is taking its sweet time to offer any military support. Regards, Hood. So, if you send the MSV Wallace 220,000 credits, you will get an item. Transmission sent. And look, Spectre Master Gear. Take all? Take all. So that's how you do it. Just bring a lot of money. And at higher levels, that's really easy. Is that like a coffee maker or something? Anyway, I love this place. I was really bummed when it was gone. It's a great role-play spot. And we probably won't be back because I don't need anything this run. But it is a fantastic place if you don't have all the gear you want at the top level. It's a great place to throw your money.
Commander, something you need?
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet, if you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I have to go.
Alright, see ya.
Okay, Joker doesn't often have new things to say. Oop. My dogs have decided there's something to be upset about. I don't think Presley has anything new to say either, but I'll check.
Yes, Commander?
Nope.
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. I'm gonna go see if, Garrus or Tali, actually, either Garrus or, Rex have anything new to say. I don't really have I'm not sure exactly when they start telling their stories. It might be now.
Commander, good to see you.
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
I bet you have. Anything in particular that stands out?
I remember this Solarian geneticist I was sent to investigate. That case was a bit disturbing.
What happened? Why were you investigating him?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts, organs mostly. We usually get a few of those, but not the numbers I was seeing. We weren't sure if there was a new black market lab or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
You've seen this before on the Citadel?
Every so often, some lab sells unwanted parts through the black market, but they're not as bad as the psychos. I remember this one L-Corps diplomat we caught in my first year on the job. He was hacking people up and selling their organs, had the station in a bit of a panic. But this case wasn't that clear-cut. Turns out there was more going on than we first realized.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development, but there was nothing. No Salarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle.
You're kidding, right? Why would anyone want Krogan testicles?
Some Krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage. It doesn't work, but that doesn't stop them from buying. They'll pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full set. Somebody's making a killing out there.
What'd you do about the geneticist?
I brought in some of his employees for interrogation, to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
You mean threatening? Was that really necessary?
Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it paid off. One of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes. Walking, living test tubes.
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies. Then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organs were good. Sometimes an organ wouldn't grow properly, so he'd just leave it in them. Most of them were a mess, but only on the inside, hidden so nobody could see it.
I hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
Why not? What the hell happened?
He ran, blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel. I told them those hostages were dead anyway. He just used them to make more organs, but they wouldn't listen.
This is tough. But yeah, okay. I'm just gonna do the thing.
It's not worth the risk. You pursue the vessel and disable it. That's the best choice.
They sent the military after him, but he got away just the same. Yes, they did. I went to Palin and told him what I thought of him and his policies. He said if I didn't like it, I could quit. Well, I almost did. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
If you don't care about the fate of those hostages, then you're no better than he is. You're just a terrorist with a badge.
Yeah, maybe you're right. It doesn't make it any easier, but I see your point. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salion?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
I'll check out the coordinates when I get a chance.
I was hoping you'd say that. But Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Salion, I want to be there when you find him.
So, for me, and I wrote it into Of Kittens and Broken Things, Garrus is unfortunately not a great investigative detective. There's any number of ways where you could have handled that better rather than tipping everybody off that you knew everything and asking them. And it just reminds me of The Closer, where her character asks, "Is that how you run an interrogation? You just ask people questions that you don't know the answers to?" So that's the thing. When you ask someone a question, by the time you bring them in to interrogate, you should know the answer. So, Kara pointed out to Garrus that if you had individually tracked the medical records and the rejection and the supply line and everything like that with some forensic accounting. So she was like, "Oh, so you did this, right?" And then Garrus was like, no, I mean, I pulled everybody in and talked to them and asked them." Like, wow, okay, Garrus, maybe you're not so great at your job.
Commander?
What's your opinion of the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story about her and her mom not talking. They're family, right?
Not everyone has a happy
No.
family.
Too bad those ruins got destroyed. I mean, they lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure. I was just watching some mail from home.
Oh, before I go, we saw Caden in a news vid about the Normandy. He's cute. Later, sis.
Let's pretend this never happened.
Are you interested in the lieutenant, Chief?
No, ma'am. And anyway, Scuttlebutt says he's already sweet on someone. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially. With Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
Did your father serve with the fleet?
Yeah, took any crap posting he could get that offered space time. You know what? He worked his ass off trying to get recognized, but he never made it above serviceman 3rd class. He was real proud when I made Chief. First thing he did was salute.
What about your mother? You haven't mentioned her.
You must know what military wives are like. Strong because they have to be, able to raise kids while Dad's away on a 6-month cruise. She has a degree in planetary geology. She and Dad both wanted to see new worlds. She gave up her career to raise us, though.
You have more than one sister? Sounds like a big family.
Yeah, I'm the oldest, then Abby, then Lynn. Sarah's the youngest. She's still in high school. With 4 girls, Dad used to say he felt more outnumbered at home than on maneuvers.
Where did you grow up?
All over. We transferred a half a dozen times before I finished grade school. You go where personnel command sends you, right? I guess that's why I'm so tight with my sisters. We'd have to leave all our friends every 2 or 3 years.
After helping raise them, your sisters still talk to you? Amazing.
Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Sounds like a story. Feel like sharing?
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did, Mike. I didn't think he was a bad kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vid mails, and I'd tell her to relax.
Where were you when this was going on?
I was on active duty. Sarah's graduating high school this year. This was only a couple of years back. They were on Amaterasu. At the time, I was assigned to Chernobog. Same cluster, but a dozen LY away. Close enough to talk regularly, too far to make it back in an emergency. I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
Sounds like that situation didn't last.
Mike thought they'd go for a romantic walk in the woods, 'cause he figured it was past time they did the deed. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense. I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
Why didn't you tell the police?
She said it wouldn't solve the real problem, and she and Mike would both become household names. It was a small colony. I said it was her call to make, that we should let her do it her way. Mom was pretty pissed about that.
You said all of your sisters learned self-defense?
Lynn did pistol practice, but didn't like it. She's kinda nervous. Sarah took Aikido. Abby decided to learn the sword. She always was a little weird. Likes big skirts and tops you have to tie her into. They do great things to her figure, though.
So, what did you learn?
One of Dad's friends taught me Marine hand to hand.
You traveled all the way home to walk your sister to school.
It was only a dozen light years, like a day's cruise. It's not like I was going to Earth or something. My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. He wasn't happy. I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this let me handle it, I need to do this alone look. She kept her cool, God bless her, as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her. I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk and there's blood everywhere.
That's unbelievable. Sarah must be as good as you.
Better. I'm more or less a straight-up puncher. When he swung, she wasn't there anymore, and he fell. She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell. Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was gonna end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying. And she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
Your sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all. Was he on deployment?
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I've enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone. For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments.
I never thought I'd hear you reciting poetry.
Just because I can drill you between the eyes at 100 meters doesn't mean I can't like sensitive stuff. Just don't spread it around. Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem. Every time he shipped out, he recorded me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
Does he still like it?
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave every time I go home. Dad passed on a few years back. He's probably still watching, though.
You mean from wherever we go after death?
Dead on, Skipper. He's with God now. That's not a problem with you, is it? That I believe in God?
Everyone has the right to believe what they want. Says so in the Alliance Charter, only with fancier words.
I'm glad you're open-minded about it. I've met a few people who are really weirded out by my faith. Because I work in space, I can't believe in a higher power? Jeez. Hello, have you people looked out the window? How can you look at this galaxy and not believe in something? I should get back to my duties. Didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
What do you want, Shepard?
Why did you become a mercenary?
Lots of reasons.
Such as?
Such as, I needed to get out of our system. I needed to eat. I needed to survive.
Why not stay and help your people?
I tried to help. That's why I had to leave.
What happened?
I was betrayed. I was head of a small tribe. We were trying to restore order after the war, but the other tribes were against us. They followed Jared, one of the few warlords who survived the war with the Turians. But he was old, and so were his ideas. He wanted to continue the war. He wanted us to fight. Turians, Solarians, each other. It didn't matter who, as long as we were fighting.
What did you want?
I just wanted Jared to shut up, to stop his ranting. I wanted him to stop leading the tribes astray. But he couldn't understand how much things had changed. We didn't have the numbers to go to war. Even if we did, the genophage made sure we couldn't replenish our numbers fast enough. I told them all to forget about war. We needed to focus on breeding, at least for one generation. And for a while, we were getting through. Some of the tribes started coming around.
I take it the warlord didn't appreciate that.
No, he didn't. He arranged a crush with the tribes, a meeting on neutral ground. He wanted to talk. We met at the Hollows, near the graves of our ancestors. The skulls of our dead laid bare to remind us where we come from and where we all go. It's as sacred as any Krogan place can be. Violence is forbidden.
Sounds like a trap to me. You must have suspected as much.
I did. But when your father invites you to a crush, well, there are some laws that even we hold sacred.
Jared was your father?
He was, until that day. We talked, but we didn't get anywhere. When it was clear that I wouldn't join him, he gave the signal. His men leapt from the graves of our ancestors like Krogan undead. The few that were loyal to me died quickly. I escaped with my life, but not before I sank my dagger deep into my father's chest. That is why I left, and that's why I'll never go back.
You must have family other than your father. Don't you miss them?
You trying to make me cry, Shepard? I've got some unfinished business with my family, but that's all.
What kind of business?
Before I left, I made an oath to my father's father. I swore to recover my family's battle armor. It was taken from him after the uprising.
What's so important about this armor?
It's a relic. Useless, really. But it was worn by 5 generations of my family before the war. It's rightfully mine. Originally, it was taken by the Turian military. We weren't allowed armor or weapons after the war. Now, it's in the hands of Taun Actus, a Turian scum who collects relics from the war. He's made millions selling Krogan artifacts that were stolen from my people. He's got several bases where he stores his goods, all fortified and guarded. I just don't know which base has my family's armor.
Just tell me where to start looking.
I'll upload the data to your nav system. But Commander, I want to be there when you find him.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Shepard, I'm glad you're here.
Good to see you smiling again, so to speak.
I'm sleeping much better now. I guess I'm getting used to how quiet your ship is. I still think a lot about my pilgrimage, though. I know Steren's our top priority, but with all the worlds we go to, I was hoping to find something to bring back to the flotilla.
We've still got a long way to go. You'll find something to take back.
Yes, but it cannot just be some derelict ship my people can use for salvage. It has to be more than that. There's a lot expected of me.
What's so special about you?
It's my father. He's the senior member of the Admiralty Board. He's one of only 5 people who can overrule the decisions of the Conclave for the good of the migrant fleet. My father is responsible for the lives of 17 million people. Our entire race is in his hands, and I'm his only child.
So are you some kind of heir to the Quarian throne or something?
No, it doesn't work that way. My father's position isn't hereditary. I'll probably never serve on the Admiralty Board myself. Officially, I'm just the same as any other citizen, but it doesn't work that way in practice. People have always treated me differently because of who my father is.
You must get all kinds of special privileges.
I probably had it easier than most growing up, but it's not all good. People like my father have enemies, and they're not above using me to get to him.
That must be tough on you.
My people place a high value on family and ancestry. There's an unspoken expectation that I'll live up to my father's example. Everyone's waiting for me to do something great on my pilgrimage. Something that will forever change our lives for the better. If I don't, it's like I failed, and that reflects badly on both me and my father.
The work you're doing here is more important than anything an Aquarian's ever done before.
Yes, I know. But you have to understand Quarian culture. We're a very insular society. The events beyond the flotilla don't much matter to the average citizen. Our greatest dream is that one day we'll return to our homeworld and drive out the Geth. But even if we stop Saren, that's not going to happen. There's still millions of Geth behind the veil. Until they're gone, our exile will continue.
What would you need to bring back to make everyone happy?
Something that would help us better understand the Geth. They've changed significantly since the exile. They've continued to evolve. We've done our best to study them, but it's not easy. They're very reclusive. Until recently, they never went beyond the borders of the Veil. And all the Geth we run into now are under Saren's control. We'd need to find Geth operating on their own, independently. But I don't want this to get in the way of our mission, Shepard. First, we stop Saren. Then I'll worry about my own problems.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins. What they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
What was your father like?
It wasn't easy growing up as the daughter of one of the Admiralty. Even before he joined the board, he was a prominent figure. People looked to him for leadership. He had to set an example, and he expected the same of his daughter. Plus, he was pretty strict, a military man through and through. He never allowed me to settle for anything less than excellence. As a kid, I sometimes felt like he was pushing me too hard. But now I'm old enough to appreciate what he taught me. The world doesn't owe us anything. If we want something in life, we have to earn it.
Where was your mother in all this?
Mother was around, but she always seemed to kind of blend into the background. Almost like she was overshadowed by my father. He tends to do that to people. She passed on about 5 years ago. Some airborne virus that swept through the fleet. Happens sometimes when the filters start to break down. I think my father took it pretty hard. After she was gone, he became even more focused on his work. I think that was his way of dealing with the grief.
Sounds like a tough upbringing. You don't resent your father at all?
Like I said, it wasn't easy. My father's not the kind of person you bond with. And he wasn't around all that much. Too busy. People counted on him, and he took his duties seriously. Even when he was around, he always seemed a bit distant. Like his mind was always somewhere else. Come to think of it, I can't ever remember seeing him smile. Not once. It's like he was always weighed down by all that responsibility. I mean, I know he cares about me, but he never really showed it, not in the usual way. I guess the best thing I can say about my father is that I respect him.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
I should go.
See you later.
Something I can do for you, Commander.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Do you have some time to talk now, Commander?
Of course. Have a seat.
We've played it pretty close to the book so far, but we're a long way from backup. We've got some tough calls to make. I'm just saying, try to leave yourself a way out. I've seen what cutting corners can do, and I'd hate to have that happen to you, Shepard. Commander.
This a personal observation, Caden?
Maybe that's not my place. I don't want to send any bad signals, Commander. Just, working on what I've picked up. You tell me if I'm going too far.
I'm listening. Tell me why you feel the need to speak up.
I'm not questioning any decision you've made, Shepard. Let me be clear about that. It's just my experience that once someone lets something slide, it tends to pick up speed. Do you get my meaning?
You're talking about a particular example, aren't you?
You know the records about the biotic training out on Jump Zero? They're all classified, because the Alliance made mistakes. After first contact, Codex was set up to track Element Zero exposures and develop implants for humans. Once we had an embassy on the Citadel, Codex could bring in experts instead of taking it slow.
Is there some reason we couldn't learn it on our own?
They didn't know where to start. Hell, it took a couple of years to even link biotics and Ezo. Forget trying to get the kids to move stuff. They had trouble just helping them not break their own limbs. And their choice of teachers didn't help much.
The only experts would have to be aliens.
Dead on. Turians, actually. That's why Codex kept it a secret. They were afraid of what people back home would think, asking the Turians for help when we just fought a war with them.
And the Asari would have been more acceptable than the Turians.
Yes, but the company didn't go through the Citadel. It would have made Earth look weak, so they discreetly hired some Turian mercenaries.
I'm sure Codex did what they thought was best.
It wasn't best for us. They brought in an ex-military Turian named Commander Vernus. To introduce himself, he liked to say, "I was at the helm of the dreadnought that killed your father." Well, I told him my dad wasn't in the war. He'd retired to Vancouver. My family had an inland home that matured to new beachfront. Vernus had it in for me after that. He cut corners, pushed hard. I mean, you either came out a Superman or a wreck. A lot of kids snapped. A few died. The point of all of this, I guess, is that when you cut corners, it's not always obvious who pays for it.
So why are you telling me this? Is there something I can do to help you get over it?
I'm 32, Shepard. You don't serve as long as I have without coming to terms with yourself. You also learn that if someone is special to you, you help them. Try to keep them from making mistakes.
So you think you have leave to talk like we're more than officers?
I got some signals. Maybe some static too, I guess. If I'm out of line, just say the word.
Sorry, Caden. This was just a battlefield thing.
There's my answer then. I'm sorry to have bothered you, Commander. I got some mixed signals.
No, you didn't.
With your permission, I should return to my duties.
I really hate that there's no graceful way to tell someone you're not interested without being a rude asshole about it.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Technology, prefabricated structures. While colonizing a planet, corporations will often make use of prefabricated or prefab structures to quickly and easily deploy a base of operations. These residential structures feature full living quarters and a large solarium from which residents may observe the planet's surface. While most human colonies have the support of the Alliance military or some corporate-sponsored defense contractor, many civilian colonists choose to keep a small stock of armaments in their home. These weapons are a last resort, but are often critical to staving off a pirate attack until support arrives. Turian's biology. Turian homeworld, Paragon, has a metal-poor core, generating a weak magnetic field and allowing more solar radiation into the atmosphere. To deal with this, most forms of life on Paragon evolve some form of metallic exoskeleton to protect themselves. Their reflective plate-like skin makes Turians less susceptible to long-term, low-level radiation exposure, but they do not possess any sort of natural armor. Turian's thick skin does not stop projectiles and directed energy bolts. Although life on Paragon is carbon-based and oxygen-breathing, it is built for dextroamino acids. This places the Turians in a distinct minority on the galactic stage. The Quarians are the only other known sapient dextroprotein race. The brood of humans are Solarians who evolved in amino acid-based biospheres will at best pass through Turian systems without providing any nutrition. At worst, it will trigger an allergic reaction that can be fatal if not immediately treated. So, trivia bit there. One of the only things on Earth that is dextro amino based is mint. So, in my universe, Turians taste like mint or tea to humans. Tannins. Okay. Krogan culture. The harsh Krogan homeworld conditioned the Krogan psychology for toughness just as it did the body. Krogan have always had a tendency to be selfish, unsympathetic, and blunt. They respect strength and self-reliance, and are neither surprised nor offended by treachery. The weak and selfless do not live long. Yeah, Rex is surprised and offended by treachery. The weak and selfless do not live long. In their culture, looking out for number one is simply a matter of course. After their defeat in the rebellions, the very concept of Krogan leadership was discredited. Where a warlord could once command enough power to bring entire solar systems to heel and become overlord, these days it's rare for a single leader to have more than 1,000 warriors swear allegiance to him. Most Krogan trust and serve no one but themselves. This solitary attitude stems in part from a deep sense of fatalism and futility, a profound social effect of the genophage that caused Krogan numbers to dwindle to a relative handful. Not only are they angry that the entire galaxy seems out to get them, the Krogan are also generally pessimistic about their race's chances of survival. The surviving Krogan see no point to building for the future. There will be no future. The Krogan live with the attitude of kill, pillage, and be selfish, for tomorrow we die. Quarians' religion. The ancient Quarians practiced ancestor worship. Even after abandoning faith for secularism, Quarians continued to revere the wisdom of elders. As time passed and technology advanced, they inevitably turned their knowledge to preserving the personalities and memories of the elderly as computer virtual intelligences. These recordings became a repository of knowledge and wisdom, stored in a central databank and available through any extranet connection. They held no illusions that this was a form of immortality. Like all virtual intelligences, their electronically preserved ancestors were not truly sapient. This was considered a surmountable problem. Sapience could surely be reduced to simple mathematics. Quarians began exhaustive research into creating artificial intelligence so they could learn to escape the bounds of mortality and give their ancestral records true awareness. Unfortunately, the life the Quarians created did not accept the same truths they did. The Geth destroyed the ancestor databanks when they took over. In the centuries since they evacuated their homeworld, most Quarians have returned to religion in various forms. Many believe the rise of the Geth and the destruction of their ancestors was chastisement for arrogantly forsaking the old ways and venerating self-made idols. Others have a more philosophical outlook, believing that their race was indeed arrogant, but no supernatural agency laid behind the Geth revolt. Rather, the Quarians' actions brought their own doom. Either way, every Quarian would agree that their own hubris cost them their homeworld. Systems Alliance military doctrine. The Alliance military is of great concern to the galaxy. At first contact with the Turians, they were completely inexperienced. Turian disdain changed to respect after the relief of Shang-Chi, where the humans surprised them with novel technologies and tactics. The human devotion to understanding and adapting to modern space warfare stunned the staid council races. For hundreds of years, they had lived behind secure walls of long-proven technologies and tactics. The Council regards the Alliance as a sleeping giant. Less than 3% of humans volunteer to serve in their military, a lower proportion than any other species. While competent, Alliance soldiers are neither as professional as the Turians nor as skilled as the Asari. Their strengths lie in fire support, flexibility, and speed. They make up for lack of numbers with sophisticated technical support, VIs, drones, artillery, electronic warfare, an emphasis on mobility and individual initiative. Their doctrine is not based on absorbing and dishing out heavy shocks like Turians and Krogan. Rather, they bypass enemy strongpoints and launch deep into their rear, cutting supply lines and destroying headquarters and support units, leaving enemies to wither on the vine. So it sounds like Stellarians. It is kind of weird to see human exceptionalism, as though the humans were much better at something that the other races had been doing for thousands of years and living for thousands of years. It's a little hard to believe. This is... So, okay. On defense, the human military is a rapid reaction force that lives by Sun Tzu's maxim: he who tries to defend everything defends nothing. Garrisons are intended for scouting rather than combat, avoiding engagement to observe and report on invaders using drones. Token garrisons of human colonies make it easy for alien powers to secure them, for which the Alliance media criticizes the military. However, the powerful fleets stationed at phase gate nexuses such as Arcturus are just a few hours or days from any colony within their sphere of responsibility. In the event of an attack, they respond with overwhelming force. Life is a biotic. Biotics possess extraordinary abilities, but they must live with minor inconveniences. The most obvious issue is getting adequate nutrition. Creating biotic mass effects take such a toll on metabolism that active biotics develop ravenous appetites. Standard Alliance combat ration for a soldier is 3,000 calories per day. Biotics are given 4,500, as well as a canteen of potent energy drink for quick refreshment after hard combat. Another issue is electric charge. Electricity accumulating in starship drive cores must be discharged, and so must the electricity in a biotic user. Biotics are prone to small static discharges when they touch metal. Unfortunately, human biotics also face suspicion and persecution, beginning with the popular misconception that they can read and control minds. Biotics symbolizes the dehumanization of mankind to people philosophically or religiously opposed to gene modification and cybernetics. Militaries are the only organization that always welcomes biotics, offering them huge recruitment incentives.
I get the feeling you want to ask me something, Commander.
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
Me? I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
You must enjoy something about it.
I love my work. Seeking out history's lost secrets has a special appeal for me. You were actually touched by working Prothean technology. That is why I find you so fascinating, Commander.
Okay, I gotta shut this down too.
I'm not some artifact you can take back to your lab, Doctor.
I am sorry, Commander. I did not mean it like that. I am used to dealing with computers and data disks. I am not very good with people. I let my professional curiosity get the better of me. Please forgive me. Let us talk about something else.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
Okay, so I have shut down both romances, Liara and Caden. It's a shame that you cannot do that more gracefully, but you really can. Oops, I went the wrong way. Sorry. Nope, 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 nope. Oh wow, we're on Tontao, so I can get Rex's family armor. That's convenient. I don't know why people
This is
can't
the
lock their
place.
doors.
My armor's
But
here
okay.
somewhere.
Just looking at the modded machinery and turbines. Very cool.
Engage at will.
Why it changes my weapon, I don't know. I wish it would.
Hostile sighted.
Bye-bye.
All targets down.
This is it. I can't believe my ancestors ever wore this piece of crap, but at least I've got it back.
I'm glad we could help you get it back.
I might just be starting to like you, Shepard.
Rex touches his grandfather's armor, his expression thoughtful, perhaps? Grogan are hard to read. Then he shakes off his bemusement and grips his gun with renewed purpose. Time to move on. Ooh, I like that ice. That's cool. I like that texture. Thank you, modding. That's when it's helpful. Boosting up the side of stuff. And the lighting is awesome.
On my way.
Weirdly, some of these pyramids don't have any... Like, there's nothing at the top, there's nothing on the sides. So, I haven't figured out why we need to go to them, but... oh well. Maybe I'm supposed to have an item I don't have. I don't know. We successfully surveyed a large deposit of mercury.
You need to turn back, Commander. You're going beyond the range of the operational area. You need to turn back, Commander. You're going beyond the range of the operational area.
You successfully surveyed a deposit of lithium. Okay, I'm gonna go speak to Rex. So that's Rex's loyalty mission. I don't know that it actually makes any difference, realistically. It's kind of the proto-concepts of loyalty missions.
Shepard,
So you'd rather be a merc than help your people?
I'm a fighter. It's what I do.
Aren't you at all worried about what will happen to the Krogan?
What the hell do you want me to do about it, Shepard? I'm tired of sticking my ass on the line and getting nothing for it.
So you're just giving up on your people?
I gave up on fighting for a lost cause. I'm not like you, Shepard. I'm no hero. Bottom line, killing for credits simplifies things.
You ever think about helping your people?
I try not to. But there's a lot of Krogan mercs out there. I'm always running into them. Half the time I'm being paid to kill them. But that's just part of the job. You don't get to pick who your enemies are.
How long have you been a merc?
Long enough. I took my first contract right after I left my home system. It's good work if it doesn't kill you.
I get the feeling you enjoy your work.
Sure. You get to see the galaxy on someone else's credits, and most days end with a good fight. I've tried more organized fighting, private armies and such, but it gets too messy. I fight best on my own, or in very small groups. I don't like people relying on me, and I bloody well don't like relying on them.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Honestly, I don't know if that is reflected in later games or not. It's not a loyalty mission like, it's really more of a favor. It's not like Mass Effect 2 where loyalty is really important. Message from Joker. Hey, Commander, so, about that apartment you just went to, down on Entice? You know that you won in a bet? I was just wondering, when are you having your housewarming party? Because I didn't get an invite, and I'm sure you'd never miss little old disabled... You'd never miss... I'm gonna change a word here, and I'm sure you'd never leave little old disabled me out. Maybe once we finally track down Sarah and we can all party at your place, huh? Might want to get an upper floor plan mapped out because we're gonna raise the roof. Joker. Yes, if you're gonna invite any Dextros, please, could you mark out the snacks in different colored bowls? Last week I accidentally ate one of Tally's snacks in the mess hall, ended up nearly breaking a rib throwing up in the bathroom. That's how you can tell it's a good party, Joker. Message from Garrus of Carrion. Shepard, I have the transponder frequency of Dr. Salion's ship here. MSV Fidele. I don't know, is that Fidele or Fidel? I mean, it's a Salarian ship, so it probably doesn't have a French accent. Herschel, Kepler Verge. I hope we can get there soon before he gets away again. Shepard, please let me join you when we go aboard. If we can make that bastard feel even a tenth of the fear his victims felt, I'll rest easily knowing justice was served. Garrus. Message from Urdnot Rex. Shepard, it's Rex. Heard you were collecting Solarian ID tags. How does this thing even work? I can't... I love that. Message from Erdnot Rex. Shepard, it's Rex. Heard you were collecting Solarian ID tags. Is this a joke? You have a Paragon on board and didn't ask him about collecting dead Solarian things? That's the most popular Krogan hobby. I have boxes of Solarian tags back on Tuchanka. I asked a youngling from my clan to sort through it. They found 2 that belonged to the League of One. You can have them. And thanks again for the armor. It's a useless piece of junk, but good to have it back. Shepard. Rex. Beacon was a Prothean artifact unearthed on the Alliance colony of Eden Prime. But I think I've read this. Alright. Its resemblance to the Prothean databanks recovered on Mars provoked immediate interest from the Alliance and the Citadel Council. It proved to be a solid-state data storage device, part of a galaxy-spanning comm network similar to the modern extranet. Intact Prothean paleotechnology is rare. The beacon seemed to promise another quantum leap of technology, akin to the discovery of the Mass Effect drive and relays. Unfortunately, the beacon also drew the attention of the rogue Spectre Saren Arterius and his synthetic allies, the Geth. The Dawn raid by his flagship Sovereign resulted in hundreds of civilian casualties. The beacon was badly damaged. The motives behind the attack are still being investigated. During the recovery operation, the beacon fired a pulse of energy at the executive officer of the Alliance frigate Normandy, Lieutenant Commander Shepard, who survived and appears to have suffered no ill effects. Afterwards, the beacon fell silent. The mechanism appears to be dead. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know we've already read data disks. Okay. Alright. Krogan military doctrine. Traditional Krogan tactics were built on attritional mass unit warfare. Equipped with cheap, rugged gear, troop formations were powerful but inflexible. Command and control was very centralized. Soldiers in the field who saw a target contacted their commanders beyond the lines to arrange fire support. Since the Genophage, the Krogan can no longer afford the casualties of the old Horde attacks. The Battlemasters are a match for any 10 soldiers of another species. To a Battlemaster, killing is a science. They focus on developing a clean, brute force economy of motion that exploits their brutal strength to incapacitate enemies with a swift single blow of overwhelming power. This change of focus from mass unit warfare to maximal efficiency has increased employment demand in the field of security and muscle for hire. Due to the unsavory reputation of the Krogan, most of these jobs are on the far side of the law. Battlemasters are not spit and polish, but they do believe in being well armed and equipped, preferably with a gun for each limb. They are callous and brutal, but methodical and disciplined. They use any means at their disposal to achieve their goals, no matter how reprehensible. Hostage-taking and genocide are acceptable means to ensure a quiet occupation with few Krogan casualties. The Krogan serving with Saren's forces appear to be returning to the old style of mass attritional combat. They also work in close cooperation with supporting Geth units, who fill the roles occupied by combat drones in other armies. Biotics are rare among the Krogan. Those that exist are viewed with suspicion and fear. It's interesting, since Rex is a biotic, the Krogan see this aura of fear as a useful quality for an officer, and often promote them. Combat drones and other high-tech equipment are likewise in short supply. Okay. Well, yeah, we just saw blue suns at the base that we just raided. Mercenaries, Blue Suns, founded by notorious Batarian slaver Solem Dal-Sarah. The Blue Suns began as a Skillian Verge protection racket, providing genuine protection from slavers and pirates. Eventually captured by the Systems Alliance Navy, Dal-Sarah beat almost 24 charges to be convicted on a single count of conspiracy. The slaver benefited from the tutelage of cellmate and brilliant con artist Bernard Ledger. Upon release 5 years later, Dal-Sarah incorporated Blue Suns as a legal security agency. Today, the Blue Suns boasts a galaxy-wide force of Batarians, Taurians, humans, and Krogan. Each deployment is backed by a logistics core selling everything from heavy weapons to shaving cream. Despite claims that Blue Suns sells its captives as slaves, no Blue Suns employee has ever been convicted on such charges. Many Blue Suns members sport the company logo in tattoo form, removed during assignments and reapplied at mission end. Okay. UNC. Yeah, I'll work my way up there. UNC hostile takeover. So this is Gemini Sigma. Write that down. Okay. Altanorch is a small but typical hydrogen-helium gas giant with no outstanding features. Its combination of strong magnetic field and relatively shallow gravity well makes it a popular stopover world for discharging FTL drive cores. Not seeing anything in this belt. Doesn't always have something. Paragon is a large rock planet with an atmosphere composed of nitrogen and argon. Despite lying over 600 AU from Ming, its surface is scorching hot and mainly composed of alumina, deposits of silver. Due to the radiation and heat, landing on Paragon's sunward side with anything less than warship-grade shielding would likely be fatal. Paragon rotates at a retrograde to the rest of the Ming system, indicating it is likely a captured body. Scans from planet Paragon have revealed a large deposit of titanium. The Worthington is a Kowloon-class modular conveyor of human design, configured for mixed freight and passenger hauling. The ship appears to be in a shutdown state. The main thrusters are cold, and it is adrift off the orbit of Antiropus. Registry: The Morrison Company, Shanxi.
Equalizing interior pressure with exterior atmosphere. Logged. The commanding officer is ashore. Exo Presley has the deck.
Empty.
Everything's shut down. Only basic life support is running.
That was no accident. The whole place could be a trap.
Decided.
Hear that? We're not alone.
Insufficient power. Insufficient power. Okay, so very likely back here there's a switch to flip. This terminal seems to be an override control for the Worthington's onboard systems. A quick scan reveals a deliberate shutdown of nearly every function save life support, and all remaining power has been rerouted to the medical bay. Intriguingly, the terminal's last recorded action is a command to cut power to the forward doors, time-stamped just minutes before your arrival. Administrator-level access is restricted, but the last command appears to be an isolated override, possibly rushed and not fully integrated into the system's lockdown. This loophole should enable you to reverse the command, restoring power to the doors at the bow of the ship. Reroute power. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna do this room last, just for story reasons. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna leave the life support alone, but I'm gonna look at the medical computer. The Morrison Company, Shanxi Premier Budget Passenger Line. Terminal locked. Please input ID for Dr. Smith. Can't find your keycard? For your convenience, this terminal is equipped with a keycard tracking system activated to pinpoint the last known location of your card. Remember, efficient operations keep us flying. Okay, so is there an ID card back here? Interesting. Oh, proximity detection. Okay, I get it.
Shepard.
As the storage locker swings open, you discover a jumbled collection of personal belongings. Among these items, you find Dr. Smith's keycard. Scattered around are various other items, including a small framed photograph of a man and a woman. You recognize the man as the comatose patient in the medical bay. Notably, nestled among the items is an L2 implant maintenance kit. Was one of the crew members a biotic? Take keycard. Unlock crew quarters. And play last entry. Reminder, your scheduled appointment with Julie Meakin is 420 days overdue. Medical alert. Emergency in the crew quarters dated 422 days ago. Emergency door override is available. View personal logs. Play last entry.
Jacob's not going to make it. His brain was deprived of oxygen for too long. There's nothing any of us can do for him now except let him die with dignity. It's what he would want. I'm more worried about Julia now. She's showing signs of severe depression. I gave her some meds that should help, but I better warn the captain.
Okay. Hey, Jacob. I'm sorry, man.
Damn. What happened here?
They say Jacob's gone. They say his brain isn't functioning anymore, and they want to shut off his machines. Jacob's the only thing in the world that matters to me. I don't know how to help him, and it's tearing me up inside. I just feel so helpless, so damn angry. Dr. Smith gave me some meds to calm down, but I didn't take them. I can't. Not until I figure out a way to help Jacob. I won't give up on him. I won't!
There's no good story here, it's just all tragic. I mean, it's a good story, but I mean there's no good ending. We just have lots and lots of dead people. Weirdly, some of the bodies look fresh, even though it 422 days ago this happened.
Jacob is showing no signs of brain activity. There's nothing more we can do for him. He wouldn't want to be kept alive by machines, so we're going to disconnect the life support. Dr. Smith is worried about Julia's reaction, though. She can't seem to let Jacob go. The stress is making her implants flare up, causing intense migraines. It'll probably be easier for everyone if we don't tell her until after we shut the life support down. Give her a chance to... Julia, what are you doing here? Why are you...
Yeah. There's fresh blood and fresh bodies.
Bring it on!
As Julia falls, the last piece of this tragic puzzle falls into place. Her desperate actions, driven by grief and side effects from her L2 implants, led to a grim ending for the Worthington's crew. Now all that's left is to deal with Jacob and return to the Normandy.
Clear.
I am sorry.
That machine's keeping him alive.
No brain activity. He's dead. His body is nothing but an empty shell.
It's time to let him go. Shut down the machines.
It wasn't easy, but that was the right thing to do.
I'm sorry, man. Sorry to everybody. So I don't know why the bodies are fresh if it was like 420 days ago, but she may have been on this ship for
all clear.
a year and a half. Keeping him going.
Stand by, shore party. Decontamination in progress. Logged. The commanding officer is aboard. XO Presley stands relieved.
Antiropus is a hydrogen-helium gas giant that formed in the outer region of Ming's system and is on the process of migrating inwards. In a few million years, the planet's atmosphere will begin to boil away into space. There's a sizable temperature difference between the side of Antiropus facing the energetic blue giant primarily, and the side facing the cold of deep space. Its variance powers massive cyclonic wind systems. The intense heat it absorbs from the sun, in addition to its own internal heat engine, causes the planet's dark side to radiate faintly in the infrared. Paragon is a large rock world with an unusually thin atmosphere of hydrogen and carbon monoxide. The frigid world's crust contains extensive deposits of uranium and occasional loads of naturally occurring plutonium, with a total mass more than 4 times that of Earth. Paragon should have a significantly thicker atmosphere. This unusual feature has flagged it as worthy of scientific investigation, but the need for expensive amounts of radiation shielding has deterred interest. Scans from orbit have detected a large deposit of beryllium. Barkathu is a standard hydrogen-helium gas giant. Barkathu is only distinguished by its moons. Several dozen of them have been sculpted into the likenesses of an arthropodal alien race not yet known to Council science. Radiometric dating suggests the moons were worked over 500,000 years ago. Paragon. Warning, level 2 cold hazard. Paragon is a small rock and ice planet with a thin atmosphere of ammonia and methane. The surface is frozen and mainly composed of tin with deposits of potassium. The planet has a rudimentary ammonia-based life, mainly concentrated around geothermal vents deep underground. Severe storm cycles are common. Due to limited visibility, navigation may be difficult. Wish you could do something about bodies. Oh, yeah, I'm dying. Level 2 hazard, okay. time I flip it over, I hear screaming in my head. We've successfully surveyed a large deposit, cobalt. Why it's that color? I don't know. Cobalt kind of famously has its own color. You discover several small artifacts. Among them is an identification tag belonging to Captain Strnaka, one of the Solarian soldiers charged with hunting down the League of the One. Successfully surveyed a large deposit of gold. Okay, I believe this is hostile takeover, which means I am hunting down the drug dealers and slavers whose coordinates was given to me by Helena Blake, a lady on the Citadel. We already told her we could do it. Crime Lord defeated. Helena was right. These guys had quite the operation going. That's all going to change. One down, just one more to go.
All clear.
Caius, we went soft on these cuddle-bone bastards guarding your precious supply cache, but if one more human is sold to those spider-faced fucks, then we'll get creative. You won't be warned again. Spider-faced fucks? Woo. Yeah, that's a mod right there. Okay, Cuttlebone is Turian. Spider-faced, is that the Batarians? Because they've got extra eyes? I can't even figure out the insult. Ooh, snowstorm. This is cool. That weather is awesome. Hunting tool. Jovian-sized gas giant with a standard hydrogen-helium atmosphere. Traces of methane give the planet its distinct cobalt blue tint, which I assume would be gold, right? Spectral analysis indicates its extensive ring system is mostly composed of ice crystals. Hunting 2 has an exceptionally powerful magnetic field, which creates strong radio interference throughout the inner system. Paragon is a small, unremarkable rock world. Surface is scorching hot and mainly composed of calcium with deposits of aluminum. Paragon's low mass has left it tidally locked to the star Han. If there were any resources of value, mining stations could be established on the relatively temperate Twilight Band. Matriarch's writings recovered. Scans of Paragon revealed an unmanned station in geosynchronous orbit. Your salvage team found no evidence on the origins of the station, but they did find one of Matriarch Dilanaga's writings on board. Okay. Hades Gamma, let me write that down. Okay, so each system has something in it. Ratio is a standard hydrogen-helium gas giant with traces of sodium and ammonia in its atmosphere. During the brief gold rush to Klensal, a few companies established an infrastructure for helium-3 skimming and deuterium mining on Ratio's icy moons. When Klensal proved to be less wealthy than expected, the facilities were stripped for parts and abandoned. Turin insignia recovered. Scans of the planet Ratio revealed an old unmanned shuttle. Your salvage team found Turin goods on board, all marked with the Trident Colony insignia. Grammar is an icy terrestrial with thin atmosphere of carbon dioxide and krypton. Its surface is mainly composed of frozen ammonia with deposits of tin and other light metals. When exposed to sunlight, Grammar's ammonia can melt, forming equatorial seas of the toxic chemical. This has allowed a profusion of simple fungus and lichen to evolve in the low-energy environment. A byproduct of their metabolism causes them to glow very faintly. While the light of an individual is insignificant, large patches seem to reinforce the light of one another and are visible from space. Metal-rich asteroid. Scans of the asteroid field revealed deposits of lithium. Klensal has a thin atmosphere of carbon dioxide and ethane. Its first geological surveys were performed by Batarians and suggested areas of great mineral wealth. Human mining concerns spent billions of credits hustling to the distant system and sinking test bores to claim the system for humanity. But Klensal only had an average level of mineral wealth, valuable but hardly worth the rush and expense. Merida Industria, a small Mexican company hoping to strike it rich in their first extrasolar mining venture, had to file for bankruptcy protection. An investigation revealed the Batarian crew had deliberately falsified their surveys, hoping it would encourage human rivals to invest in a costly boondoggle. While unethical, this was not technically illegal, and the Batarian government disavowed the personal actions of a few misguided patriots. The planet is still littered with abandoned mining bases, which are often used as temporary meeting places for criminals. successfully surveyed a large deposit of beryllium. Really cool textures. Look at that sun. Oof, so cool. Beautiful. Look at that. Awesome. There's old footprints leading away from this escape pod, but no sign of any survivors. Yeah, there's nothing like this in Mass Effect 2 or 3. It's really a shame that you don't get a sense of just the expansive majesty. And you really just are you're just dealing with industrial, ugly. Oh wow, from that far away, okay. This dead traveler had a League of One medallion. Where he found it and what he was trying to do with it is unclear. Alright, let's get a little bit closer, shall we? Crime Lord defeated. That's both of them. No doubt Helena Blake will be overjoyed to learn that these two scum are no longer a problem. Spirits, Vasquez. Are you out of your damn mind? Our dusters are overdosing on that red sand you're pushing. Sell whatever filth you want in your territory, but if a single grain of that impure shit ends up at ours, then we'll nuke you back to the fucking Stone Age. Okay, so... yeah, they're all sending each other threatening letters. Don't... these guys are selling drugs, and they don't want drugs in their territory. The other guys are sending slaves, and they don't want human slaves sold. At least that is my interpretation. Okay. Places look so much better, like the water reflecting on the ground, and ugh. Yay! Mesh and texture upgrades. And surprisingly stable. You been waiting on us, Rex? I've only crashed a few times, and they're not really severe crashes. Usually just running again will fix it. It's only been once that I've had to disable a mod to get past a point, and then I finish it and re-enable it. And the mod in question that has been an issue is Thane Lives mod. Crashed my Citadel party. But I still enjoy the content and want Thane to live. Successfully surveyed a deposit of platinum. So the Thane Lives mod, it's pretty self-explanatory. Thane lives. Okay, so I did all of it. Cool. Oh, where am I? Okay. I need to go to there. So it puts Thane back into Mass Effect 3. So he's not at Puerto. Immediately, he is slightly later, but then he's feeling better. He doesn't die. And he can rejoin the Normandy and be in life support. Now, the writing isn't amazing. It's just kind of random. Gosh, I'm glad we did that, Shepard. But you could have a romance with him if you like. I didn't, and I'm probably not going to. Because I've already written my Thane, though I don't actually really accept anybody else's Thane as legit. But to have a mod where he lives and Colliet gets to have him around, it's worth it. The Thane is not scintillating, but he is alive. Ooh, looks like we cleared the whole planet out, huh? Okay. Looks like we got it all. Finish up surveying the system. Yarum. terrestrial world with a thin atmosphere of methane and argon. Its frozen surface is mainly composed of basaltic rock. Its most prominent feature is the Ellis Rift Valley, a long volcanic divergence zone that stretches across half of the northern hemisphere. While scanning this planet, you detected a large deposit of titanium on a nearby moon. Dartar. Terrestrial world with a trace atmosphere of krypton and xenon. Surface is hot and mainly composed of unremarkable occasionally deposits of aluminum, magnesium, and other light metals can be found. Dartar is noted for the discovery of the Leviathan of Dis, the apparent corpse of a genetically engineered living starship. The Leviathan was found in the bottom of a crater by a Batarian survey team and estimated to be nearly 1 billion years old. It disappeared after a visit to the system by a Batarian dreadnought 20 years ago. Since then, the Batarians have steadfastly denied that the Leviathan existed at all, and all the more vociferously when shown recordings of the corpse made by Solarian researchers. So that is Mass Effect 3 content. That is, well, the Leviathan DLC. That's the system referenced.